Welcome back to Worthy and Abundant, the podcast. I'm so grateful you're here. It means the world to me. Today, I have a special guest. She is a realtor, an advocate, and author. She's an award-winning Colorado realtor. Her name is Maria Gallucci. She is a multi-award-winning Colorado real estate broker, author, and lifelong advocate for inclusive communication and accessible housing. With over 30 years of experience, Maria specializes in working with the deaf, hard of hearing, and LGBTQ plus communities, as well as builders, investors, and families across Denver, Colorado, Springs, Northern and Southern Colorado, the Western Slope, and nationwide. She is the founder of Uptown Realty Group and Gallucci Homes and is consistently ranked among the top 1.5% of realtors nationwide. Maria is also a top producing agent at Compass, and she is a child of deaf adults. And Maria learned American Sign Language before English. And at age 12, she helped her parents purchase their first home, serving as an unofficial interpreter. This pivotal experience shaped her mission to ensure that clients from underrepresented communities are seen, heard, and respected, especially in the home buying and selling process. There's so much more to say. She just released her new book this past weekend called Raised in Silence. And I'm so excited to talk to her and dive into all of this stuff because we here at Worthy and Abundant, we talk about entrepreneurship and everything, women empowerment and all the things. So welcome, Maria, to the show. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so proud of the book and I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. Yes. Tell us what inspired you to write the book.
I think it's 15 years in the making because I think I saw how my parents were taking advantage of and not having the support system that they had during medical appointments or like financial documents. So for me, I just wanted to build awareness and just bridge the gap between the deaf and hard of hearing community and the hearing world.
Wow. And what do you hope readers will take away from the book?
I think in being inclusive and not thinking that we're separate communities because we're all just human and we all just want to feel accepted. And I feel like
That's
that's
beautiful.
what I hope to take away.
Yes. So you describe yourself as an interpreter kid. What was it like growing up as the voice and ears for your parents at such a young age? What was that like?
I think for us, we felt like it was normal because that's how we were raised. But then as we got older, we just noticed, oh, hey, this probably isn't right. Because I had to tell my mom that she had terminal cancer because back then she didn't have, or we they didn't have interpreters. They had interpreters, but they weren't providing them very often as they are now. And so we were the ones who had to tell her that she actually had terminal cancer
Oh.
and only had less than 3 months to live. So I think in those situations, it's harder when you're kids and they're your parents.
How old were you when you had to tell your mother that and what happened?
I was still young, but I was in my early 20s. My sister was not even 20 yet. She was still very
Oh
young.
my gosh, I'm sorry. And then how many siblings do you have?
There's six of us and we're all hearing.
Wow, six
Yeah.
of you, and you're all hearing. And then tell us about when they bought their house and you were 12 years old and you were the interpreter. How did that experience? Is that what got you into real estate? I'm just so curious. You helped your parents buy a home. What did that experience teach you about responsibility, communication, independence?
So I went to the car, was just driving there with them, not knowing that I was going to be interpreter or anything. And then while they were in the room trying to understand the documents and everything, I could tell like they had no idea what was going on. Like even if like they just had no idea. So I just jumped in and started helping and interpreting for them. And that was why I got into real estate. Number one, I loved it. And then I loved all that the financial stuff and the real estate stuff. So it made me feel like I helped them get a home, and that's what I love, like
Yeah,
doing with my clients.
yeah, you did. They both they didn't speak. Or how does, like, they're both deaf, your mom and dad.
Yeah, they're both deaf. So my dad was born deaf, and then my mom had the chickenpox and I think the measles at 9 months. So she's basically was deaf her entire life.
Wow. Yeah, there's a TV show on Netflix where the father, I can't remember the show right now, but it was an amazing show. I can't think of it right now. Do you know which one I'm talking about where the father is deaf?
No, I don't think
Oh,
I've seen that. I'll
oh
have to
my
watch
gosh,
that.
I can't remember it right now. It's excellent. I can't think of it. That's what happens when you get old.
I know, right? I know that part.
Yeah. So you often talk about humor and freedom in unconventional upbringings. What are some funny or unexpected moments from your childhood that shaped you?
I think when my dad put the like an alarm doorbell that chirped like a bird for us so we wouldn't go out and sneak out at night. And I was thinking, oh, we could still sneak out because they can't even hear the door chirping.
Oh,
But
that's
it scared us though to where we'd have to stay like so we were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go because we can hear the doorbell chirping. But that
mm,
was really funny.
that is funny. Is there anything else that stands out that was funny growing up?
I think or my sister went out, and this is also in the book, but my sister went out with her friends and she was riding a four-wheeler like in the middle of the night so they were trespassing on like church land or something. And so they got like caught by the cops. And so the cops had called us and wanted to talk to her mom. And so I pretend, Rose calls me, Maria, you have to like, you have to
Anytime.
act like your mom. And so I totally acted like I was our mom, and the cops were like, okay, as long as she has permission to be out this late. But
Oh,
everybody else got in trouble, just Rose didn't.
wow, that is so fun. That is really funny, actually. I imagine there was many times 6 kids. That's incredible.
Yes, we were all
And
big,
you're
wild,
all,
and crazy. And we're all close. Like, we're still very close. We were all each other's, like, best friends, and we still are.
oh, that's beautiful. What's the age between you guys?
So Rose is the youngest, so her and I are 6 years, or yeah, so we're 6 years apart. So we're like basically like 2 years each.
Oh, wow. So, as a proud child of deaf adults, how has your identity shaped the way you show up in both your personal and professional life?
I think it's showed us how to be compassionate and how to have empathy. So everything I go for is with my heart, and anything I try to help everybody is with compassion.
Is it also like deep gratitude? Because
Oh,
you
yes.
that you can hear and talk. That's so interesting. I learned sign. I remember learning sign language, and I really enjoyed it actually when I was younger. I don't remember how old, but I learned some sign language. Yeah, it's really cool. But so I presume your mom is gone.
Yes, my mom and dad both are. My dad just passed away a couple of years ago, coincidentally with the same cancer, which
Oh,
was odd. It
gee.
was melanoma.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. So did your mom pass like shortly after you had to tell her diagnoses? Like, were the doctors accurate with the 3 months thing
It was 2.5 months. So they said she had 1 to 3 months to live, and it was 2.5.
and that was how long ago for you?
That was, God, like over almost 25 years ago, over 25. And
No,
then my
did
dad lived a little bit longer with the melanoma.
okay. And then did you guys, so you helped with the doctors and all of that?
Yeah, we were like her sole interpreter for back then. And then with my dad, they had interpreters there, but even it's still like when you know your parents and know that community, it's a little bit different when you're signing. So we still had to help my dad out for that stuff too.
Yeah. And then so I imagine that would bring you and your siblings even closer together, actually, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're all still very close. We were all there for both of our parents.
Yeah, so blessed to have each other, really.
Oh yes, I couldn't
Yeah.
even imagine.
Yeah, it's incredible. So, your book is both a love letter to the deaf community and a guide for bridging communication gaps. What's one key principle we can all practice today to better connect?
I would say just try. If you see someone, like, you could tell there's a communication barrier, just try with them. Like, you can talk on your phone, like type to them or write to them, or just show them stuff. I think the motto is just try with people, no matter what community everyone's in.
And compassion.
Yes, 100% compassion.
Yeah, because sometimes I can't understand the person on the other line and you're like annoyed about it and you're
Exactly.
frustrated. And instead, I think just showing the person compassion. Yeah. I almost think sometimes people with I was at the pool like a couple weeks ago and this woman had she was a beautiful woman. She had these like gorgeous sunglasses, and I said something like, "Oh, I love your sunglasses," and she says, "Oh, no, speak of English," whatever she was. And I'm like, oh, "Yeah, that's a good." Like, I know that they speak a little bit, but that it's a nice. Don't talk to me. I don't speak.
Don't talk to me. Yeah.
I was joking with her, and I said, "I love your glasses," and she just said, "Oh, I forgot what she said," but she smiled like it was a joke, but I can just see how it's just easier. I don't.
It is. I know. And it brightens her day though, because you did just try to you brought your hand to your the glasses. So she knew what you were talking about. And I think that makes just effort is just
Yeah,
makes a
and
big
she said
difference.
thank you. Like they know simple thank you and hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get some questions here. What are some common misconceptions about the deaf and hard of hearing community that you'd love to correct?
I feel like they think that a lot of people think that they're not as intelligent as we as hearing people are, and they are. They're just as equal as we are. They do everything that the same. The only thing they can't do is hear, and they can communicate just like us, and they're just as smart as us.
I love that. I believe that to be true, I'm sure. So you use the term deaf gain. Can you explain what that means and why it matters for building empathy and stronger relationship? What is deaf gain?
I think that because you're basically on two sides of the spectrum, like because they can't hear, so their other senses take over, so then they see stuff better. They can read the room like easier because we're all like we use expressions a lot in sign language, and I just think that they could feel compassion and feel the room and everything a
Energies.
little bit differently. Yeah, energy and things like that.
I like that. That's very interesting. And it makes complete sense that if you didn't have one sense, that your other senses
Your other sense, yeah, that takes over.
would be stronger. Yeah. What do you think so many people feel awkward or afraid when trying to communicate across differences? And how can we shift into genuine connection instead?
I think that people feel like it's unknown, so they don't know like the feedback that they're going to get. So they're like trying to mm, like make themselves not feel like not make a mistake with them. But I think
Yeah.
that just
So
yeah,
they're,
just trying with them is
yeah,
enough.
I like that. Tell us about the LGBT. Okay, so you also support LGBT. QT. What inspired you to do that? To be so,
My son is gay, so he came out as gay when he was 12 years old. And so I've been a big supporter in that community because I've seen what Adrian has been going through and things like that. And I feel like the deaf and hard of hearing community and the LGBTQ plus community go hand in hand because they both just want to feel accepted and want to just be included in things and not feel left out or
yeah,
excluded.
yes. Is there any advice you would have for someone that has maybe something like to be like what it's advice for maybe the person that wants to be inclusive, but like they don't know how, just being kind and compassionate.
Yeah, just be kind and compassionate. That's all anybody wants. And all of us are just the same humans. We're just trying
Right.
to get through this life and get through this world together. And we're all individuals. We all just want to feel our authentic self and we all just want to be included.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I'm starting a nonprofit for young adults. And because my son had two friends that took their lives, and I just want to raise awareness. I want the young people to know all these things, like to love themselves, to accept themselves, to find their passion, to know that they can create their lives. And so it's really I'm a giant child advocate, animal advocate, and I just love helping young people know things that they don't know because they're learning from society and their caregivers or parents. So I want them to recognize that they have the power to create lives they love and they don't have to listen to all the noise that's out there in social media. You know what I mean? And feel less than.
Oh, exactly.
I was feeling less than a lot of my life, and I had self-worth and self-esteem issues. So anyway, I always talk about that, but so I do have a passion for that and very
And I
passionate.
think that a lot of people don't realize just the little things that you say can just be like detrimental to somebody's mental health. And I feel like you might just one word, and because you're angry that day or you have your own opinion, that can put somebody in a tailspin and not in a good place.
I was one that was super sensitive and empathetic, and I grew up in a lot of criticism and judgment, and so that's like a thing, right? So I've
Yeah.
grown and healed and evolved. So now when someone, I know it's not about me. Like we have to learn that it's not about me, hurt people. So usually it's not about you. And like the book, The Four Agreements, are you familiar?
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
that's
a
a
little
great book.
manual for life. Don't
Yeah.
take anything personal, don't make assumptions, all these things. And it's hard to do, but it's if you went around life and never took anything personal and recognize it's not about you, you'd be really in a good place.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel that I think a lot of people just, I think it has hurt people who do that, but they don't, they're just think they're focusing on themselves instead of thinking the broader picture, like just be kind, like just be nice. That's all like
Yeah,
anybody ever
right.
wants.
Doesn't cost anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. And because we were stared at when we were kids all the time because we were signed, actually, we still get stared at now if we're at a restaurant and they're like staring at us when we're signing. So when we were or I was, I can't speak for my brothers and sisters, but I was very self-conscious of that stuff because people would always stare at me. So I get so uncomfortable when people stare and things like that because that's how we were raised because people were staring all the time.
Right. Yeah, it was different. Do you guys still sign, you and your siblings?
Yes, 80% of my clients are actually deaf or hard of hearing. I do all
Oh,
different walks
wow.
of
Well,
clients,
that's a
but
great
a
niche.
lot of them are, yeah, I cater to that community.
It's beautiful, generous.
Yeah.
So you've built a successful real estate career serving diverse communities. How has being bilingual in the ASL and English set you apart in the industry?
I think there's not a lot of agents who's actually fluent in ASL, and I'm actually a CODA, so ASL is my first language, and so I'm very good at it, I guess I should
Yeah,
say. So I'm very
yeah,
fluent. And
yeah.
so I think that's what sets me apart in that way. And then with the LGBTQ plus community, my son is obviously in that community. So I have compassion and I know what everyone's going through on both sides.
I love that. I love that so much. So, as someone in the top 1% of agents in Colorado, what do you believe has been the secret to your long-term success?
I think that I know I'm like a counselor for people buying and selling homes because you need to be as an agent because it's one of their biggest purchases or like sales side of their entire life. And so it's very emotional for them. So I think being raised with like honesty and integrity and like awareness, I'm able to help them through that and guide them through the process with an open heart.
Yes. And then do you have a lot of referral business? And do you have a team? Do you have people supporting you or you're not the one doing all the things? Just curious. I see.
Yeah, I do have a team. So we have a big team. And then my sister she works with me as well. And she knows ASL. So it's easier for her to go to my clients if I'm not able to go to them. And then, so I feel like having help in a whole team makes a big difference as well.
Nice, nice. What's the average price? This is just me. I'm just curious about the average price in your area in Colorado. Just curious, or the area, your selling point. What is your,
So I think the median now is like 700 or 564. I'm not sure. It keeps
oh,
changing, but
yeah.
I do all price points. So I do even land that is only 50,000 all the way up to multi-million dollar homes. So I never reject any client.
Oh, that's so nice. Do you have a buyer agent that handles the buyers, or are you?
I do both. Yeah, I do the buy side and I try to be like involved on both sides
Nice,
because
nice.
they're meeting you and they want to be like with you. I feel. And so if I can't be with them, I always let them know, hey, someone else is going to be there, but I'm still available for you to talk to or anything.
Yeah. What advice would you give to realtors or entrepreneurs about serving niche or overlooked communities?
I would say that it's important to make them feel not overlooked and not excluded. And so I think that those communities appreciate when you're there and that you actually know the ASL or know Spanish or are involved in the community. I think that makes a big difference. Just compassion and love.
Yeah. You created ASL Realty, a national platform connecting deaf and hard of hearing clients with signing agents. What problem were you solving and what has the response been like?
It's huge, actually. It's nationwide. The one thing that's hard to find is other ASL agents around, you
Maybe I'll
know,
do it.
nationwide. Yeah. So if you know anybody, let me know because I have a platform for you guys. So I think that it helps the clients feel like someone knows their language and is helping them out. So I think that was very important to build the nationwide because there's not just deaf and hard of hearing people in Colorado. They're all over. Very huge underserved
I just
community.
realized that, yeah, I told you, I don't know if I said it before we hit record, but I studied that when I was young and like I was just realizing I can still do the alphabet.
Oh, you can still do yeah, the
Yeah,
ABCs.
can still do it. Just like I can still do French and Spanish alphabet too, and some counting. Yeah, very
Did
interesting.
you know what's different? And all the countries all have their own. So ours is called, yeah, that's love, yeah, or I love you. All the countries have their own sign language, just like their own languages. It's different throughout the country.
Oh, I didn't realize. It's so
Mhm.
interesting. That makes sense though, right? Because if we speak different language, yeah. Your motto is just try. Can you share a moment when that simple mindset changed everything for you?
When I saw like someone struggling, like trying to get something off the shelf or whatever, and they were trying to talk to somebody to try to get help, and they just was like, "Oh, never mind. I don't even know how to help them like interpret." And I just went up. I'm like, "Here," and they were so surprised that I knew sign language. So I just came up to them and just tried. I'm like, "I'm sorry. What do you need?" And then I explained it to the worker. I'm like, "They're just looking for this product."
Yeah. What did your parents teach you about resilience and resourcefulness that you carry into your life and work today?
I think like resilience would be like don't beat yourself down if people are like making fun of you or saying anything. It's not. My dad always says it's not you and it's not personal. They're the ones with the issue, not you.
Yeah,
So I
smart.
always try to it's personal.
What did your parents do for work?
So my dad was a mechanic. So he was a mechanic for I mean, his whole entire life. And then my mom was basically just a stay-at-home mom. She worked at some places here and there, but she basically just took care of us. She died very young, so she was only in her 40s.
Oh, wow. That's hard. How did you handle her death?
I think it was hard, I think, and I think it's hard to have people explain to you what's happening, but not actually hear it or what's going on. Like she was bedridden for the last month. And then so I think that you already feel isolated, I feel. And so for to be on like your deathbed and all you could do is watch TV, but it's like you don't
No
hear
life.
anything or you don't feel, yeah. So I think it's a little more difficult for them. So I'm sure it wasn't that great for her.
But I mean, for you handling it, like, so you were like, she was out of her misery, basically. So you were how old when she passed? 20 years?
I was in my very early 20s.
Okay. But how did you handle if you just had you had the support of
The
your
siblings, yeah, I had the support of the siblings and my dad and everything like that. And then my dad soon after got married to Dixie, and Dixie was amazing and wonderful for my dad. So I think that helped because my dad and my mom were together for 32 years. And so I think having Dixie there helped my dad, which helped me because I didn't want to see my dad like be sad or anything. So that helped a lot, I
So
think.
he found someone. How did he find
Yes, he did.
somebody so fast? How did he find
I I think a friend introduced them like 6 months later or something.
Interesting. Nice. Good for him. I was just watching my new show on Netflix called it's in Colorado. So that's like interesting. I forgot the name of it. Something about the Walter boys, living with the Walter boys or something. Anyway, it's in Colorado and it's quite beautiful. The girl moves there. Her parents and sister die in a car crash at six. She's 16 years old and she loses her parents and her
Oh,
sister.
wow.
She has to go move in with her mom's friend in Colorado from New York. So it's a big change. And then she's living with all these kids. Anyway, they're in Colorado. So there's like horses and they live like on a farm. It's really interesting. I heard so many good things about Colorado. I literally just started watching the last 2 days, and here I'm talking to you, and you're in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's neat.
It's beautiful. It's a very pretty state.
Yeah. So you learned financial literacy pretty early. What's one money lesson you still live by?
Always, I think just be careful and be careful what you invest in. And usually real estate is very good to invest in because you'll have the place if it crashes instead versus the stock market or things like that. So I think just be careful with where you invest and what you buy.
Okay. If someone listening wants to make their business or life more inclusive today, what's the very first step you'd suggest?
I would start with use your heart for everything. Like just know, is this what I would want sent someone to do with me? And I think that makes a big difference.
Lead with your heart. I love that.
Yes.
Do you have any spiritual practices that you do, or like morning routines or evening routines?
I do. I try to meditate in the morning, just even if it's for a minute or two, like before you touch your phone or before you do anything. And then I love doing yoga. So I always
Mm,
do those too.
nice. Are you married and all that too?
Yeah, I have Jordan and Adrian. And then Chris has 3 kids of his own. So there's 5 kids total.
Oh, okay, nice. And have you been in Colorado your whole life with your family?
Yeah, I was born in New Hampshire. And then so my brother, BJ and Ursula and I were born in New Hampshire. And then we moved here when we were young. And then the last 3 were born here in Colorado. So I'm basically raised here my entire life.
Nice, nice. Congratulations on the book. You
Thank
said
you.
today it hit 1%, the top. What did you say?
I got the top, it's #1 right now and on the new bestseller list. So I got the top or #1 new bestseller.
Beautiful. How long did it take you to write the book? Because I'm writing a book too.
15 years. And so, yeah, it's like I've been trying to write this book for 15 years. And then finally, like, it was on my goals every year. Like, I always had it on my, like, for the New Year goals. And then this year, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have to do it. And so I started again in January. And then it just now got launched. So it still took 9 months.
Oh, wow. Tell us who is the book for?
It's for anybody because it's about awareness and being inclusive in all forms of communities. And so it's like my love letter to the deaf community to let them know I'm going to let everybody be aware that there's underserved communities and everybody just wants to be heard and just wants to be included.
Yeah, be seen and heard. Yeah, it's beautiful. What has it been very therapeutic writing the book? Tell me, like writing the book, did it cause
It
any kind of,
Yeah, it definitely did because, and it was, I think that us as adults forget a lot of our childhood. So when I was writing this book, I would get like a lot of memories and everything. So I'd call like my siblings. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember when that happened?" And then I also was asking my siblings like, "What do you remember at this time?" So yeah, I think it was very therapeutic, and I cried when I read some of the stuff, and I like wrote it. So so I know what it's going through. But when you put it together as a book, it's so different and it's amazing.
you should be so proud. That is so incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And so we'll let everyone know where they can find the book, Raised in Silence, and where they can find you. And I think about you like coaching agents on this,
Yeah.
like you could do that. Or do you do that?
Yeah, no, I don't, but I've thought about it.
Yeah, it's just kind of,
Sometimes that might be an avenue just to help agents because we get lost especially as agents, like we get lost in the shuffle and the market and the day-to-day like listings and buyers, things falling through. And we ourselves are hard on, I feel like ourselves when things like that fall through. And I think that if we have a good mindset and we know that this agent and the other agent are just there, we all have the same goal, and all of us is to get their home or sell their home and make our clients happy. And I think that if we're all like together as a community and know that we're not against each other and we're trying to help each other, I think that makes such a big
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. Collaborate versus compete.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then lastly, what does worthy and abundant mean to you?
I feel like worthy means that you know that you tried your best and you're giving as much as you can of yourself in a good way. And then abundance is when you get everything back to you because you were so kind and so
Mm,
thoughtful and
I like
helping them
that.
out.
I love that. Also, I have to say, I feel like worthy is also like just for breathing. You're worthy. Like you're worthy as a child.
Yeah, be
Uh,
thankful that you're here. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And like, I don't care what your sex is, if you can hear or not hear, but you are worthy.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. It was really a
Well, thank you so
pleasure.
much for
I
having
mentioned,
me.
you're welcome. I mentioned that I'm also a licensed realtor and we have that in
Yeah, that's
common.
great. I know, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. I wish you so much luck with your book and your future. What is next for you, Maria? Anything in the works or you want to
I
just,
think nothing in the works yet, but hopefully maybe I'll have a second book after this one.
yeah, or teach or something or
Yeah.
in stages? Amazing, Maria. Thank you so much. It was great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.